Because it is obvious, Melissa yelled, throwing her hands in the air. The girl got suspended. She is gone. She has ditched the meeting. Joe paused, absorbing her panic. You know what? You are right. Melissa blinked. I just said you were right. That was a compliment. Okay, Melissa said, trying to think clearly. She has like 3 places she usually goes after school. I will just start there. You want me to help you? Joe offered, standing up. Yes, please do, Melissa said, a wave of relief washing over her. She was not entirely alone in this. While Melissa searched the local coffee shops, Joe climbed the back stairs of the house, heading out onto the flat portion of the roof. He found Lennox sitting near the edge, her knees pulled to her chest, staring out over the suburban skyline. Nothing, Joe muttered, stepping out into the cool afternoon air. I can work with this kid. Wow. Lennox did not turn around. Is this where you come for your adolescent brooding? Joe asked lightly, sitting down a few feet away from her. Did you come up here to turn me in? Lennox asked, her voice tight with unshed tears. It is not really my style, Joe replied, looking out at the view. What is your style? Lennox challenged. Outlaw, Joe deadpanned, cast out by the power brokers, forced to live a life in the city. Lennox turned to look at him, a tiny smile playing on her lips. Oh, kind of like Batman if he had been demoted to a nanny. Nice, Joe chuckled. He let the silence stretch for a moment before speaking again. Are you not supposed to be at a meeting at your principal's office right now? Why should I? Lennox snapped, her anger returning. Crap goes on there all the time. Mrs. Lunt fires the music teacher, completely gets rid of the band, and everybody is afraid to talk about it. I am tired of life being unfair. How about for once it just be fair? Joe looked at her, his expression softening into genuine empathy. I would be upset too if my mother and father bailed on me. Lennox stiffened. I am talking about Mrs. Lunt. If you say so, Joe replied gently. You do not know anything about me, Lennox whispered fiercely. You are right, I do not, Joe agreed. But what I really do not know about you is why you are taking this all out on your aunt. Lennox looked away. Because she is the only person who has not bailed on you, Joe continued softly. Look, I know she can get a little crazy at times. All times. Really. But since we are talking about what is fair, do you really think it is fair that she has to go down to your school all alone and eat your big bowl of stink for something that she did not do? Lennox frowned, confused by the phrase. Big bowl of stink? What is that? You will know when you have eaten one, Joe said, standing up and brushing off his pants. He left her alone on the roof to think. Down at the high school, Melissa sat in a terribly uncomfortable wooden chair in the principal's office. Mrs. Lunt sat behind her large desk, looking stern and unforgiving. Any sign of our Lennox? Mrs. Lunt asked coldly. Melissa smiled nervously, her hands folded tightly in her lap. Oh, Mrs. Lunt, look, I know what Lennox did was bad. Okay, really, really bad. But if any kid has the right to be upset about what life has handed her. Look, I am not trying to excuse Lennox. I am just saying if I was Lennox, I probably would have done worse by now. In fact, when I was her age, I did. Mrs. Lunt sighed, adjusting her glasses. This is pointless without Lennox. Why do we not just reschedule? Do you think you can manage to find her by, say, tomorrow afternoon? Oh, tomorrow's city council session is all day, Melissa stammered, pulling out her planner. But we take lunch from 12 to 1. I do not know when you break. Mrs. Burke, the principal interrupted harshly. Parenting does not fit into nice little schedule boxes. You know, it might be helpful to look not just at what Lennox is doing, but at the job you are doing. Melissa felt a hot flush of shame creep up her neck. She was failing. The principal was right. She opened her mouth to apologize, but the office door suddenly swung open. Lennox stood in the doorway, breathing heavily, as if she had run all the way from the house. "She is doing okay," Lennox said, her voice trembling but loud. Melissa spun around in her chair, her heart leaping. "Hey!" Lennox walked into the room, refusing to look at the principal, keeping her eyes fixed firmly on her aunt. "I am sorry I am late, and I am sorry about the other day with the poem, and I am sorry about the stuff that I said. I was mad, and apparently not really at you, but there is no need to blame my aunt. She has been getting enough of that for me. You know, at least she is trying." Melissa felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. It was the most beautiful thing she had heard in months. Lennox finally turned to face the principal. "Okay, whatever. Let us just get to the stink-eating part." Mrs. Lunt looked bewildered. "The what-eating part?" Later that evening, the house felt entirely different. The mountain of garbage outside had miraculously vanished, hauled away by Joe in the trunk of his soon-to-be-repossessed sports car. In the driveway, the rhythmic bounce of a basketball echoed through the twilight. Joe was standing near the hoop, tossing the ball back to Ryder. "All right, let us see what you got," Joe encouraged. Ryder shot the ball. It clanged awkwardly off the rim. "Here is a thought, my young friend," Joe advised, stepping up to demonstrate. "Try loosening up your knees a little bit." He bent his knees gracefully and sank a perfect, swishing shot. "You are welcome," Joe grinned, tossing the ball back. Ryder caught it, looking at Joe with genuine appreciation. "I heard about all the crap you have been going through, you know, with your wife going broke, losing your car, your condominium. I mean, how can you even walk?" Joe paused, the playful energy draining from his face for a split second before he masked it with a wry smile. "Oh, sorry." Ryder rushed to apologize, realizing he had crossed a line. "I did not mean to." No, 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 it is all right." Joe waved him off, though his voice was softer now. "I am aware that my life is an abyss of inky black despair. Thanks for the pep talk. Hey, could you show me how to do that knee bend thing again?" "Only if you tape it," Ryder joked. "I have no idea how I did it." Just then, Melissa's car pulled into the driveway. She stepped out, looking exhausted but triumphant. Joe walked over to meet her on the porch. "Oh, I am sorry," Joe started, trying to find the right words. "I am sorry. I am sorry about your—" He pointed vaguely toward the house. "Your aunt. I meant your aunt." Melissa leaned against the railing, exhaling deeply. "Hey, so I ate my whole big bowl of stink. I even went back for seconds. I am going to go brush my teeth now." She held up her hands to stop him from speaking. "Hands. It was you. You talked her into going down there. How did you talk her into going down there?" Joe shrugged, flashing a charming, arrogant smile. "People like me." "No, really?" Melissa pressed, her eyes searching his face. Joe sighed, leaning against the pillar. "I paid her $50. Melissa's jaw dropped. "A bribe? That is terrible. Not only is that wrong, that is horrible parenting." "Well, I am not a parent, and neither are you," Joe pointed out logically. Ryder, walking past them onto the porch, chimed in. "Can I have $50? "No," Joe said firmly, pointing him toward the front door. "Then relax, all right?" Joe turned back to Melissa. "I wrote Lennox a personal check. It is going to bounce. Another very valuable life lesson." Melissa stared at him, caught between horror and amusement. "So is this how you ran your youth center right out of college?" Joe broke eye contact, looking guilty. "Oh, please, there was no youth center." Melissa crossed her arms. "Can I speak to you in the other room?" "Nice knowing you," Ryder whispered to Joe as he walked inside. "Oh, I will be fine," Joe muttered, following Melissa into the living room. Melissa rounded on him, her voice a fierce whisper. "You lie, you bribe. Is there anything you will not do?" "Windows," Joe answered immediately.